the next few videos, we're going to cover hazard-specific knowledge. So if you're wanting to learn more about one natural disaster over the other, you can go ahead and look through these videos and pick which ones you want to listen to. In these hazard videos, we're going to go over a little bit about what causes them, what to look out for, and different things that you need to be aware of as someone with a disability. So with all that being said, we're going to jump in and talk about flooding today. Flooding can be caused by different natural weather events or breaking of water barriers. Things like heavy rain and low-lying areas can cause flooding. Overflow of different bodies of water can also cause flooding. And if you live in the coastal regions, you know that storm surge is also a huge factor in flooding. Things such as damage to the levee systems or dams can cause flooding, as well as rapid melting of snow from the mountains. And as always, you should listen to your local and state government officials when there's potential for flooding or if it is actively flooding. With that being said, you should know the difference between a flood watch and a flood warning. A flood watch means that the conditions are favorable for flooding, but they're not sure if it's going to occur, and you should just be on the lookout. A flood warning means that it is imminent or that it is actively flooding. When flooding does occur, you could prevent or slow down the movement of water into your home or whatever safe space you're in. First, let's talk about preventative measures. Cleaning debris around your home, as well as actively keeping your gutters clean, as well as the drains around your home, can help slow the accumulation of water. You could also gather supplies, and sometimes your community might give out supplies like sandbags or other things to prevent flooding into your home. Actively flooding, building barriers around your entryways and windows can be beneficial to slow the water. You can use towels or those sandbags that I talked about that you might have picked up beforehand. This is when relying on your support system becomes very important because you might not be able to do these things on your own. My number one safety tip when you're prone to flooding, especially in hurricanes or other bad storm surges, is to keep a flotation device in your stay-at-home kit or in your go bag. Using a life jacket can be a matter of life or death, especially if you cannot swim or if you're trying to grab your children and pets with you. Try to avoid moving through floodwater if possible. You need to keep in mind that if you are using electricity-dependent machines or power chairs, you might have electrical failure or even electrocute yourself if you're going through floodwater. And if you have to move through floodwater, always check after you exit the floodwater. Your sensations are not always going to be intact, so you might have scrapes or cuts after moving through the floodwater from the debris in the water. You also want to look for signs of infections if you have open wounds. Signs of infection might be redness around the area, an increase in pain, or if you touch your wound, it might feel warm. You should also look for pus or any discoloration and discharge from your wound. There is always the risk of a toxin being in the floodwater. You want to dispose of all your clothes as well as wash your body with soap and water. If you don't have access to any water, try at least changing your clothes or wiping yourself down. And as always, it's always okay to ask for help if you can't do these tasks alone. The last point that I want to bring up is having that go bag and those important documents ready to go. Flooding can be life-threatening, and you should always try and leave beforehand if you can. However, having your important documents in your go bag in a waterproof or water-resistant bag or case is important in the event you do get stuck in flooding. Talk with your caregivers and support team about where those things might be located in case you have to grab and go. It might take longer for you to evacuate after a severe flood because of all the people that need help and as well as getting to you. So you should be prepared for a couple days. If you need to, go back to my evacuation or sheltering in place video on what you should put in your go bag or your stay-at-home kit. Talk with your caregivers about your needs and how they can best support you during this